Hello, today I'm just going to be telling some stories. Let me see if I can find something for you to look at or to visualize while I do this. Actually, I don't think I got much for you. So I think I'm kind of just going to start telling some stories. First, let's give me just one moment and do that. All right. Let's see here. All right. Well, I think we'll just start. Some of these are random because right. So some of these are made because middle of the night things are well so thing. So what do now is I'm gonna start by telling the first story. There was once a child. This child was named Shmeeg. Shmeeg was 8, but he was quite smart. He graduated from college with his master's degree at 7 and now owns 5 of the largest businesses ever. He had over 900 trillion dollars and had 19,000 mansions. One day he was out at Walmart. Schmeg saw a dog. He was like, "You're mine now," and he took the dog. That night, he was in one of his 19 rooms. He heard a sound from the dog's room. He went to check it out, and he saw the dog sleeping. He brushed it off and went into bed. The next night, it happened again, and again, then again, and again for 2 weeks. He decided to put up a camera and went to bed. The next morning, he watched the tape. What he saw was shocking. What he saw was his dog sleeping at first. Then he saw the dog get up, take off his costume, and reveal that he was the local homeless man, Dupin Sippy. He went into the room and said, "Dupin Sippy, get the frick out of my house, you smelly pooper." So he did. The end. All right, now we're gonna move on to the second story, and it's kind of awkward. Okay, there was once a man, Joey Kelper. Joey was the blueprint of the word perfect. He was handsome, kind, and swag, but he had a flaw. He had a strange hobby. He like he collected dead animal carcasses. He didn't kill them, just collected them. Over the years, he collected over 146 carcasses. They ranged anywhere from rat to raccoon. One night, he heard a strange noise from downstairs. He followed it down to three to the basement, down to the room he kept the dead animals in. He slowly started to make his way to the door when the knob turned. He shrieked and fell to the hard, cold floor. He looked up and saw the door was wide open, but it was weird. The carcasses were gone. Then he saw a pair of bright yellow eyes, then another, and another, and another. So they were everywhere. Then they emerged from the shadows slowly. All the animals he collected. Some more decayed than others, some were nearly fully skeletons. He begged for forgiveness the, as the carcasses got closer and closer. A scream was heard, then silence. The next morning, the police came over for a welfare check due to the scream from the night before and him not showing up for work. As they knocked with no answer, the policeman got worried, as this wasn't like Joey. He was never like this. Everyone knew it, so the policemen went inside. They searched the house till they got to the basement. When they opened the door, they were hit with a rancid smell. They slowly went down the stairs, plugging their noses. When they saw the basement, they were horrified. There were nail marks, like someone had been dragged, leading to a door, and under the door leaked a puddle of blood. The end. All right. Now we have our second. Now we have our third one, but it's really long. So before I start, I just want to to let you know, this is just a sub stream. No big fat crap. Okay, now we can begin. No, not that. Whatever. Okay. Third story. One day, a guy named Joe Peck went to London with his friend John. When they got to the airport, some guy told them that people were randomly disappearing. They didn't believe him, so they rented a car and started driving to the hotel. When they got to the hotel, the guy at the counter gave them the key. They decided to look around for a minute. When they got back to the counter, he was gone, and the only thing that was there was his tie. They thought he just went for his break, and they went to find their room. When they got to the room, it was absolutely destroyed, and almost everything was broken. The only thing that wasn't broken was two chairs and the TV. The moment they turned on the TV, the news came up. The guy said people are randomly disappearing and we are finding out what is happening. But when the channel changed for a moment, but then the channel changed for a moment. But when the news was back on, the only thing in the station was a note that read, "Watch for a red man wearing a red mask." They decided to cancel their room and just stayed in the car for the night. The next day, Joe Peck wanted to try a special ice cream parlor. When they got there, there was a lot of broken cars. The windows were broken, and there were sharp pointed axes in all the hoods. They went inside. There was only one person. They were a little scared, but just asked for 2 cones of cookies and cream. They went to a water fountain that was for some reason broken, but they just started enjoying their ice cream. Then Joe Peck had to use the bathroom. When he got back, John was gone and nowhere in sight. The only thing there was his phone. Then he got a call from an unknown number. When he picked up, all he heard was John screaming for 5 minutes, then the phone hung up. But then he got a weird address from the same number. But when he got to the car, it was engulfed in flames, so he found a Lime scooter and went to the address. Or grabbed on a public electric scooter, doesn't matter. When he got to the address, it was an old shut down store. He went he he went in and the lights turned on leading to the manager's office. He walked into the room. Nothing happened at first, but then a bag went over his head and he passed out. When he woke up, he was in a very dark room with one small light. A guy came out of the shadows holding John's head. Brutal. People outside heard a scream, and John nor Joe Peck were ever heard from again. The end. So there goes our third story. And we have 5 stories, and we're heading to our fourth. All right. Let me try and figure out how to get that out of the way. Can I? Okay. Now, let's move on. There's once this, and now here's story 4. There was once a serial killer named Tim. Tim was just like any ge- generic serial killer, nothing special. Till one day, he found a new victim, a woman named Sabrina. He watched her for a few weeks and learned what she did with her time with her days. But every day she went into a dark building with someone, always someone new, and she'd come out alone. He brushed it off and one day decided to strike. He followed her into the building, picked the lock, and followed her and the person. He followed them to a dark room and hid as he watched something so gruesome and disturbing that he nearly had a panic attack watching. He'd cut the man open, shoved her hand in his gut, took out his um s- small intestine or whatever it's called, and hung him with it, laughing like a child at a carnival the whole time. He gasped. He gasped, and Sabrina heard this, saw him, and chased him. He ran to the exit and saw that it was locked. Tim was then grabbed by Sabrina and tied up to a pipe connected to a strange machine she'd built. She then questioned him. "Who are you?" she asked. Tim begged for mercy. Sabrina flipped the switch and the pipe heated up, burning his arms. He screamed as Sabrina repeated her question. He told her about how he was a serial killer and how he was going to kill her. He then made a mistake that sealed his fate. He started threatening her. She dialed the notch all the way up, boiling his skin to the point of it falling off. She then poured 2 gallons of gasoline on him, grabbed the match, lit it, and threw it on him. She used the flame to light a cigarette as he screamed and burned. The end. We got one more story, and this one's just straight up blood, brutal. Okay, here we go. Now we got the fifth one. I made this one. There's a reason why this is a sub live stream, because it's only 12 minutes long. One day, Dave was just walking down the street when he heard a scream from an abandoned house. When he went in, there was blood everywhere and hundreds of dead people. When he took one step inside, he got thrown at a wall of spikes. As he was screaming in pain, the lights turned on and there was two guys wearing all white, but it was such a dark red it almost looked brown. Then they started killing 30 more people and blood was getting everywhere. When they got to him, he realized that they were both super high on marijuana. They both took one swing, they passed out, but they cut both of his legs off. He was able to call for help, but he was only able to scream twice. Then he died because no one could hear him. The end. Well, thanks to no one joining. And that was my Levi stream. I will see you. Actually, maybe I should just add this real quick. Give me just one moment.
Thank you for watching. I will see you the day after tomorrow.
Bye.